Hello and welcome. Today, I want to go over what I built out for the last couple days, at least. In the final stages of prepping for the OSCP, I actually wanted to build out a tool that everyone can use, not just simply write my notes and do whatever. I actually wanted to build something that's compliant towards the OSCP with open notes. There is no LMM on this website. Just to let you know, there is no chatbots. So it is 100% safe to use. If anything else, this is just a basic website that anyone can use. I used Base 44 as its setup, and it was pretty easy for the integration. So all of it is pretty much what I wrote. Now, there's going to be some language of the AI that's done because I wanted to build out this tool at least. So if you see some AI integrations with wording, uh, goal continuously, probably next month after I pass or after I'm done with the OSCP, I'm fairly certain that I can dial in some of the stuff I could use. But anything else, I've actually grabbed from my notes from Notion, uh, anything on the OSCP related, boxes, you name it. So let's get right into it. Here's my about page. And this is what I was talking about. There's probably some extra stuff. This will lead you to my portfolio page, but this is just basically me, what my journey was, my time in Japan, etc. But yeah, how to find me, my blog series to my GitHub, and then other blogs I've written too with this mind map. Back here, we'll get on this. I guess we'll talk about the homepage. Homepage is pretty simple enough. Once you start your test, there you go. It's a timer. And then what I like about the flag part is it actually helps with milestones. So let's say you got a foothold, like, hey, take your win. You found that local text, take your win. So it kind of keeps tracks of the little wins during the test. So I like that a lot. And then there's a Pomodoro timer. So that way you can either focus on within 25 minutes or 60 minutes, taking your short breaks, and then making sure you're actually taking your breaks in between. So that way, then you get the long break, would be 15 minutes. And then also setting a timer for lunch and dinner. So that way you remember to eat and you actually step away from your PC for at least a short period amount of time. Don't necessarily need to use it, but I figured this would be helpful during the engagement. So that way you're not focused on rabbit holes. You're giving yourself some time. All right. So back to this main page here. What I like about this too is this will actually help you go back to with the exam landscape with certain checklists as well as like, hey, have you checked all these ports? Are we testing critical protocols here on this machine? Of basically a basic checklist of these machines, and then you can same thing with a Windows target and Linux, and then also a web. Now, grain of salt, not every vulnerability is going to be a network between Linux or Windows or web. It could be a series of different things all together, but at least it's going in, hey, have you checked for these ports? Are you scanning? Are you doing these things? You can check them off as you're going. So I found that to be very helpful. So that way you can continue enumerating while you're taking the test. And this also helps with, hey, you're here with your Cali box. You're good. You got the first credentials here, what you're using, and then you're getting to the next machine, and then you're getting the domain. Now, this is all common knowledge, but based on the OSCP itself. So again, this is just checklist and is doing the same thing. Like, hey, whatever, but it's not the same IP addresses that you're going to use. It's just there to say, hey, have you done these things yet? So this goes with the exam landscape as well. And then when you get a quick flag, And it'll actually keep out the tracks you're using, and then it'll actually give you time like, hey, you're 63 points behind, and then you get this other um, get this proof that you're 57. So it'll actually help you keep track of like how close are you to finishing this test. There's also the activity line that will actually show you too that what you're doing, and it also helps with the engagement. And then task manager, target task. You can add your task here as well. And then focusing on rabbit holes, just in case if you're like, I'm confused, the avoidance, if you try to, it's basically asking yourself, have you tried doing this certain ways? These are just basic notes saying, hey, what have I tried? What have I haven't tried? Um, Having that mental framework. And then the OSC report template, download here. Um, I think I had problems with this guy. No, we're not gonna open that. Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I had problems with this one. I'm gonna review it, but if you go down here to report methodology first, well, before I go into these guys, and then here's the reference document that'll open that should download the template for you. Or this is also, I think this is also the other template as well, but this one actually is from the website. So information gathering with a domains all have some of them do. This is where I may need to add it a little bit more. But if you go to Active Recon, any of these guys will show you off their website. If you go to MNAP, open up the reference, it'll take you to MNAP. So I thought that was a good, cool feature to use. And then other examples of how to use MNAP with references. Same with DNS enumeration, and then enumeration, you're doing X, Y, and Z to these ports, etc. Web attacks, SQL injections. Now, this one's more focused on, these are still here. You can use this during a live engagement too, but these are all focused on the domain itself. So the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. You've it shows you how to do it with references. Active Directory, same thing. AD enumeration. This will actually take you to Bloodhound. Keep roasting attack. Shows up different ones. And that's fine. This is just basically the domain side of if you need to get to a quick thing. You don't necessarily need to use this one. Now I did remember this is also its own template. Well, that's fine. Then you go to command reference. All commands that I've worked on with my that I've seen are all added here. Especially if we close all these. I'm gonna close them all for a second. Does all the pivoting. My PC's going a little slow. There you go. Privask, Windows, Active Directory. Wow, this is just slowing me down. Other stuff I learned with boot to root. 88 other attacks you can use. Redis. Wow, it is just slowing me down. And then the lab techniques I've learned, which again, these are all added targets, so no worries. But these are things I've seen. And then Xbox Academy 2, others, and then Canvas I studied, WordPress, network references, Python for pen testing too, shows different ways as well to get the range that you need to use, HTTP requests, etc. Making quick on the fly scripts. And yeah. So that's all the commands I've studied on. And then exploit lookup. Kind of like with reverse shell generator, but it already has what you want to use. So this is just makes it. But then if you go here, I'll combine these two. Exploit lookup, I believe. I saw it somewhere. Yeah, it's right here. Same thing. And then I also, if we go to references, I also have it in here. We'll keep going though. And then the AD attack, same thing. Are you doing these in order? Are you pivoting? And then initial access, the same thing. What are you doing with the initial? Just more checklist. The lab tracker, this is something I need to work on too. I want to go to Crane here. I won't say not started. I won't say in progress. Flag, graded. So yeah. Um, get it back here too, which is nice. You can get one in progress, say that you're having issues with it, and then if you're stuck, you can go back to them at any given time. Let's say, well, let me use Tyler for example for Hack Smarter. I use this list from the link list and also my list I use from the OSCP. We'll say we can stuck. Yeah. Like you'll see, like, hey, I'm stuck here with this one, and then come back and see if we can try. And you can use these during the mind map too. They also, but yeah, if we go here, this is where I think I need to switch it off a little bit. It's telling me it's a Windows server. I need to drop down or remove the drop down. And then also say not started and hard. I need to switch these two. The drop down menus are having a little bit of an issue, but it's fine. So stuff you can write down with open ports, services that you've seen, and then the vulnerability, like how did you get in, L5 to log poisoning or receive. That's one way. And then grabbing, like these are optional. You don't have to grab those, but it's a tracker of what you need to use. There's like over 115 or 17 machines to go over. Stuff that I've found useful for the OSCP. And then vulnerability database. This is stuff that I just came across even in my own studies. Basically how to look for it, any integrations with these kind of attacks. And then all of this could be worked with Metasploit. Now you don't have to necessarily use Metasploit, but let's say if you've seen it, uh, out of here like with this, what's on it. Now you may not find it, but I did put the exploit database on there within resources. We'll use that last. Pen testing methodology. This is nice. So let's say you're gonna add a target. This will actually do a checklist as well. Like, what are you doing? Is it if actionable of a P? Like, are you doing all these steps that you're using? So it's nice. Then payload vaults. Yeah, the same thing as exploit lookup, but it does the same as as whatever. You can also open up an open chain builder. Oh, I need to fix that. I gotta remove it. Oh. I had sharing issues with that one, so I didn't want to have someone take this test and then uh yeah. I had this chain and like I said, if I had someone taking the test and everyone sees it, technically you're breaking the rules. So I got rid of it. So I will fix that. So we have the Privesk 2 checklist. Knowing me, I like my checklist for sure, but again, I want to be into the position where I see everything. Now, this is also a vulnerability checklist too with FTP. Let's add that service. Are you trying anything with these outdated services? Same thing. Like you see, like you find the service like 389. Now it'll do the typical ones like with RDP. but it won't remember. Like if you found a new one, it's probably not gonna find it. You're gonna have to search for that. Well, these are just for the common everyday scene for the service vulnerability. Then there's exploit too, how the backdoor works, Samba, different ones I've seen. The data dump with this. Now, don't use SQL map, but I just grabbed all my notes that I thought of. Boot to root. I like this one too, because this will actually keep you focused on your targets, and then you can also search play it with the scans you bring it with search play, which is kind of nice. Same thing with services, with what web, how to enumerate for it, or any of these guys. So you're constantly thinking of the next, oh, okay, here you are. That's what I haven't tried yet with that port. Oh, and then the vulnerabilities dashboard. I like this one too, because then it'll do the same thing. You'll drop your XML file here and then, or your output, and then it can parse and analyze and ask you questions. It's based on an algorithm. It's not based on an LLM. So if you're thinking of it, this is still just another checklist when you put in your um, nap and you're really stuck and you can't find anything. This is definitely useful for sure. Oh, no. Let's see here. The mind map. I got two mind maps here. I'll go with the other one in a second. This one's just a basic one. If you're thinking of if you need a visual aid, have you done these things during discovery? And then in enumeration, here to exploit, back again. So it's kind of nice. Cheat sheet builder, same thing. And you can also export this cheat sheet too if you wanted. Let's say you want all the payloads. You can actually export it to your end if you wanted it fully accessed to do so. The checklist too. And then what's nice is I built a CVSS calculator. Now, necessarily, are you gonna use this on the test? Probably not, but out in the field for sure. Because the test is basically, can you replicate what you did and then put it in as a report versus um like man, I can't think of the name. Will probably come to me. Payload encoder. Um, basically want to get a quicker way of doing it. Say hello, base 44. There. It's the same thing as CyberChef, but you can code your attacks here and then whatever. Let's also swap it out. 13. That swap. And then you put your whatever payloads you need. You need to code it or not. We find something. Exam day checklist I'm really happy about because these are stuff to go ahead and just remind yourself to do this the day before. The VPN you can just do it during the 15 minutes, but make sure your system's patched along as well as your main host too. Make sure all your payloads are ready, the site's up and available. You have proxy change on logo ready already config. If you did the labs, then you don't have to worry. Well, this is a nice little checklist, and then the planner. I like this one too because you can also, hey, ran this. They're all, yeah. The drop downs are kind of where I need to get a little bit better at, but it does come with the commands here. Um, and then you can also put your notes and findings about what you found interesting to this attack. All right, the workflow. same thing. So with the other, and then this is just another checklist, but workflow actually helps. So then the more machines you're compromising during the test, you get to up to here. When you see the green, you already passed, but yeah, we keep going to get that 100. You never know for the report. Oh. But if you just need that 70 to pass, you got that passed. Once you get to give this green light, you're golden. And then the vulnerability network. This one I might work on a little bit more too. So we have the phases. So recon, iteration. But this is helps with trying to think, okay, this is what I'm doing. These are the services. Do I LFI, to log poisoning, etc. Goals and milestone. Uh, basic ones have you reach your goal. You can also remove it. Two. Is it already ready to go? This one will always be one because I have it on the website, which is nice. And then the library, all the Notion stuff that I put in, like everybody used, my Python notes. And then if you go here, these are all my notes I made on Python too. It's available and it's accessible as well. So any of these ones, all the parsing also works. Yeah, any of these though you can do like cheat sheets, OC prep. There's avoiding rabbit holes that I created to be safe. So if you get confused or so, these are notes that I put in away. Oh, I need to fix that. But you get the point. Oh. And then resources is the last one I kind of want to touch on. So any of the Hack the Box Academy links are here, so you just have to sign into it. Oh. But at the same time, I also grabbed all the checklist and I put it in the other use. Oh, I didn't even use the how to. Yeah, these are all the different rooms with burp. A burp was more necessary and authentic with track me. Yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit more of a whatever with track me, to be honest. At some point I'll talk about them and say why. And then this is all the other stuff I with the I think the cheat sheet or the list I made um on that Excel sheet or so. I've put it all in here. So ports bigger to all my notes that I've made. Port forwarding. It um shows all of it. Resources. Like Kali setup. Again, you don't have to use Pin My Kali. It's just something I just had ready to go. Um, repos to try first. All the other repos that I can think of, and then the Kali tools. I think that was necessary as well if you needed a tool. And then CV library. And this is where I was saying that you have access to exploit database and the other ones I've seen so far. And then books I read that I've added here. Yeah. And then the how-to page, which is funny. We should have started with this one, but these are simply quick. So this is just a one that tells you how to use this website in case you need to go back and look at. These are all the different tracks too. I may need to update that, but the payload vault just tells you what each module does. What you use. And then I've added how some stuff with burp sweep in case, hey, have you tried this? Like, do this in burp sweep this way. Same with SQL injection, and then command injection, and then how to configure burp, and the exam day 12 speeds. But this is where I wanted to put burp at is two, and then it's got some pro tips. And yeah, that's pretty much the website for the most part. I wanted to share it and give it out and say, hey, this is a tool that can be used. Again, there is no LLMs. It's just based on an algorithm. Like, hey, have you tried this? Thinking of multiple different angles about the OSCP. I think it's going to be a lot easier than what people think it is. I will say I did fail it twice, only because I didn't make a tool like this out, which there's other tools out there you can probably use. So I made this free for that reason. So all you need is to sign up and log in, and there you go. Well, that's basically it because I wanted to make sure everyone is segregated on their own account while they're using this tool. Because again, this is a whole open source tool to use. I don't want to make any money off of it. I just want people to pass. So this was actually nice. And again, a tool like this is 100% acceptable on the OSCP because it's all open notes, and this is all the notes that I've taken throughout the year state. So yeah, next step is pass it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you get a kick out of this tool. I will be editing a lot, as a heads up. So if there's anything that you guys think I could probably add or use, definitely more welcome. Open for open criticism for sure. I think I I had issues with the study calendar because then it started showing everybody who's using it, and then I just went, I can't have that for this tool. This is not something I need. It's something that had user collisions on. So instead, I just made something that you can just use on the fly. It doesn't save anything either. So that's also the good news. You're not sharing information with everybody else on it other than the command references. Everything that's set as a note is being shared. And then I may just rename that though. But yeah, that's again, these are just stuff I found. Like I found along the way of using this. And then my repo here too. I also suggest getting while you're studying, when I built this out, is because this has all the tools you're going to need on it, like all the executables. If I go to Windows here, yeah, it has all the executables that you can think you're going to use on the test. Sharp Up is going to be great. This is also a replacement for WinPs. But you can still use WinPs if you want. Like I still had the rest of it added to it. Oh, but these are just the other commands that I've ran. It's sweet potato if you need to use it, and then it will whatever. I found more luck with Sigma and God Potato, but in case you need it, it's there. Same thing with other stuff on how to use it in the Sharp Up. Sharp Up is going to be great. I'm excited for it. I need to edit that, but I'll do that a little bit later. But yeah, I'll add both links to the video here, and I hope you also pass this test as well. Take care and hope you have an amazing day. Hope you have an amazing day. Man, I am just take care. Bye.